The sky over the alien colony shimmered in soft blue and purple hues. Towering buildings, shaped like spiraling crystals, reflected the light of a distant sun. Aliens of many shapes walked along the streets, talking in voices that hummed like soft wind through glass. In the middle of this peaceful city, humans were a rare sight. Most aliens were curious about them, but they kept their distance. Humans were small, fragile creatures in the eyes of these advanced beings, yet there was always something different about them, something the aliens could not understand. On a quiet morning, the city woke to shocking news. Children were missing. Not just one or two, but several human children who had been visiting the colony with their families. Panic spread like wildfire. Parents shouted, guards ran through the streets, and alarms echoed across the crystalline towers. The alien council gathered immediately in their high chamber, voices rising in anger and fear. "Who would dare take human children?" demanded a tall, silver-skinned alien with multiple eyes, each blinking rapidly. "This is madness." Another alien, smaller and covered in shimmering scales, replied nervously, "We do not know, but someone must be responsible. Humans are fragile. If anything happens to them," his voice trailed off, leaving a heavy silence. In the chaos, a human warrior named Kalen stood quietly. He was strong, with broad shoulders and sharp eyes, but he knew he had to be careful. Humans were not always welcome here, and showing anger too openly could bring trouble. Yet he felt a fire burning inside him. These were innocent children. He could not let them disappear without a fight. Kalen began to ask questions quietly. He spoke to alien merchants, guards, and even street children. Every clue he found led him deeper into the colony's shadowy corners. Strange ships had been spotted near the edge of the city, hovering silently over dark alleys. Some aliens whispered about seeing human children being carried inside the ships. Kalen's heart pounded. Whoever was behind this was organized, clever, and dangerous. By evening, the council had made a decision. They would investigate cautiously, but no alien dared enter the shadowy areas where the ships had appeared. Humans were fragile, but maybe fragile was exactly why someone wanted them. Kalen, refusing to wait, followed the trail. He moved silently through narrow streets, avoiding patrols. He noticed the subtle signs, footprints in a strange glowing dust, marks on walls that no ordinary alien tool could make. Every step brought him closer to the truth, and every step filled him with tension. Something was coming, and it was bigger than anyone imagined. Finally, he reached an abandoned warehouse at the edge of the city. The doors were heavy, made of dark metal unlike anything in the city. Kalen pressed his ear to the wall and heard faint whispers, children's voices, quiet but scared. His heart ached. He knocked softly, but there was no answer. The whispers stopped. Suddenly, a shadow moved across a high window. Kalen ducked, his hand on the hilt of his sword. Whoever was inside was alert, watching, and dangerous. He waited, breathing slowly, thinking carefully. Then, a small voice called from the shadows. "Please help us," it said. It was a human child, trembling but alive. Kalen's resolve strengthened. Whoever did this had underestimated humans, and that mistake would be costly. Inside the warehouse, the air was thick and cold. Strange machines hummed, glowing with blue light. Children sat quietly, their eyes wide with fear. Some had faint bruises, and some were trembling from exhaustion. Kalen whispered to them, "Stay calm. I will get you out." As he helped them rise, a deep voice echoed through the room. "Humans, you should not be here." It was a tall alien, cloaked in dark armor, moving with frightening speed. His eyes glowed red, scanning Kalen carefully. "You do not understand. These children are special. You cannot take them." Kalen's hands tightened on his sword. "Special? You mean you kidnapped them for your experiments, didn't you? You thought humans were weak. You were wrong." The alien laughed softly. "Weak, perhaps, but powerful in ways you cannot imagine. These children will change everything. And you are too late." Kalen realized then that this was not just a kidnapping. This was part of a larger plan, something the aliens had been preparing for years. The warehouse was only a small piece of a much bigger puzzle. He could not fight all of them at once, but he had to try. He looked at the children, their small hands gripping his arms. Fear mixed with hope in their eyes. Kalen made a decision. He would not wait for the council to act. He would rescue them himself, no matter the cost. Using shadows as cover, Kalen moved silently toward the back exit. The alien in armor watched, calculating. Suddenly, alarms blared. Someone had triggered a hidden sensor. Red lights flashed and a metallic voice announced, "Intruder detected. Secure all exits." Kalen knew time was running out. He whispered to the children, "Follow me. Stay close and do exactly as I say." They nodded, trembling but trusting him completely. Step by step, they crept toward the exit, careful not to make a sound. Just as they reached the outer door, the armored alien blocked their path. His arms were wide, his presence terrifying. "You cannot leave," he said, voice cold. "The humans belong to us now." Kalen's mind raced. He needed a distraction. Spotting a loose pipe on the floor, he kicked it toward a corner. It clanged loudly. The alien turned for a moment. Kalen seized the chance, pulling the children toward the door. Outside, the city lights shone brightly, but the streets were dangerous. Patrols would be everywhere. Kalen led the children through narrow alleys, weaving past groups of aliens who were searching desperately for the missing kids. Every corner held danger. Every shadow could hide an enemy. Finally, after what felt like hours but was only minutes, they reached a hidden safe house. It was small, simple, and secure. The children collapsed, exhausted but alive. Kalen looked at them, feeling both relief and dread. He knew this was only the beginning. Whoever had taken these children would not give up easily. As the children rested, Kalen examined the small clues they had brought with them. A tiny piece of alien tech, a strange map drawn by one of the children, and whispered stories of a faraway planet where human children were taken. Each clue added to the growing picture of the enemy's plan. Kalen understood one thing clearly. This was not a simple crime. It was a test, a challenge, and perhaps a trap. The aliens who stole these children wanted something from humans, something powerful and dangerous. And now, humans were awake. They had noticed. Far above, in the dark void of space, strange ships moved silently toward the planet. Their shapes were unfamiliar, their intentions unknown. Kalen did not yet know who they were, but he felt the tension in his bones. The universe was watching, and the humans had taken the first step. That night, as the children slept, Kalen sat alone, thinking. He knew the council would act eventually, but time was critical. Every moment the children stayed in danger, the enemy grew stronger. He had to plan carefully, but he also had to act quickly. Suddenly, one child woke and whispered, They said humans are not ready. That we are dangerous. But we are small. Can we really fight them? Kalen smiled softly, kneeling beside the child. We are small, he said, but small does not mean weak. The universe has underestimated humans for too long, and it is about to learn the hard way. Outside, the wind whispered through the crystalline towers. The city was peaceful, unaware of the storm brewing in its shadows. But Kalen and the children were ready. The unexpected turning point had arrived. Humans would fight. Humans would survive. And humans would change the galaxy forever. The first part of the journey had ended, but the true battle was only beginning. The morning sun barely touched the alien city when Kalen, the human warrior, set out again. The warehouse was empty now, but the clues from the children were burning in his mind. Each whispered story, each strange mark or gadget they had seen pointed towards something bigger than a simple kidnapping. Whoever had taken the children was clever, organized, and, Kalen realized, planning something unimaginable. He led the children through hidden pathways of the city, avoiding the glowing patrol drones and watchful guards. Their small hands clung tightly to his as they moved, hearts racing. Kalen whispered encouragement, "Stay close. Don't speak unless I tell you." The children nodded, though fear showed in their wide eyes. Kalen's first stop was the outskirts of the colony, a place humans rarely visited. Here, The crystal towers ended, replaced by jagged rock formations and glowing alien flora. Strange creatures moved silently, their shapes flickering in and out of sight. The children shivered, but Kalen stayed calm. He had faced danger before, and he knew fear could be more dangerous than any weapon. Using the clues, Kalen found what appeared to be a hidden docking station, a place where alien ships landed in secrecy. The tracks on the ground were fresh, as if something had left not long ago. Small gadgets scattered nearby glowed faintly, symbols unfamiliar to him. He crouched, examining the devices. One hummed softly. The symbols shifted and changed, almost alive. He realized this was alien technology, powerful and far beyond human understanding. Suddenly, a shadow moved across the rocks. Kalen grabbed the children and pushed them behind a glowing bush. A figure approached, tall, slender, and moving silently. Kalen tensed, ready to fight. But the alien stopped, raising its hands in a peaceful gesture. Its eyes, bright and intelligent, locked on Kalen's. "I mean no harm," the alien said in broken English, surprising him. "I help humans. They are children. Dangerous aliens they take." Kalen's eyes narrowed. Could he trust this alien? But he had no choice. "You know where the children are?" he asked cautiously. The alien nodded. "Yes, secret planet far. Many children experiments. You must hurry." With that, the alien led them through hidden tunnels, twisting beneath the rocky terrain. Every turn was dangerous. Sensors hummed faintly, and Kalen could sense that enemies were always near. The alien spoke quietly. "They monitor everything. Humans strong, unexpected." Kalen realized the truth. The children were not just kidnapped for power. They were being studied, tested, and trained in ways no human could imagine. Whoever was behind this wanted something more than simple control. They wanted the hidden potential of humanity itself. After hours of careful movement, they reached a cavern filled with faint blue light. Through the shadows, Kalen saw a sight that made his blood run cold. Hundreds of alien containers lined the walls, each holding a human child. Some children slept, some sat quietly, and some whispered in fear. Their eyes reflected strange lights, powers developing even under captivity. Kalen's heart pounded. He had expected a few children, not an entire army of captives. He understood now. This was bigger than the city, bigger than the colony. It was a galaxy-wide plan. The aliens believed they could control humans, but Kalen knew humans were unpredictable. Humans survived against all odds. And now, humans were awake. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed, echoing against the cavern walls. Kalen froze, realizing that their intrusion had been noticed. The children looked at him, wide-eyed. He whispered, "Stay calm. We will not be caught." From the shadows, a squad of armored aliens appeared, moving quickly and silently. Their weapons glowed, ready to strike. Kalen held his sword tightly, thinking fast. He could not fight all of them head-on. He needed a plan. He turned to the alien who had helped him. "Can you distract them?" he asked. The alien nodded. With a flick of its hand, strange energy pulses shot from hidden devices, creating illusions of humans running in multiple directions. The armored aliens paused, confused by what they saw. Kalen used this moment to move the children forward, guiding them to the containers. Using his strength and careful precision, he unlocked them one by one. Each child who stepped out felt the weight of fear and hope at the same time. They were scared, yes, but they were alive. As they reached the exit tunnel, Kalen noticed something unusual. Some children were not afraid. They were glowing faintly, their eyes shimmering with energy. Kalen realized that the aliens' experiments had given them abilities, powers humans never knew they could have. One child moved a small object without touching it, while another seemed to sense Kalen's thoughts. A chill ran down Kalen's spine. This was not just a rescue mission, it was the beginning of something much larger. If humans had these powers, what else could they do? And if the aliens had been experimenting for years, what was their ultimate goal? The group moved carefully through the tunnels, using the shadows to hide. Kalen's mind raced with possibilities. They could fight, yes, but more importantly, they could survive and change the rules of the galaxy. He felt a mix of fear and excitement. Humans were underestimated, and that mistake would soon be revealed. Suddenly, they reached the final chamber, a large hangar filled with strange alien ships. One massive ship stood out, black and sleek, humming with dark energy. Kalen's heart sank. This ship was unlike any he had ever seen. The children's whispers confirmed it. That's the leader's ship. It controls all the experiments. Kalen knew they had reached the core of the operation. If they could escape this chamber, the children would be safe for now. But if they failed, everything would be lost. He glanced at the glowing-eyed children and made a silent promise. He would not let them down. As they prepared to move, a low, mechanical voice echoed through the hangar. Intruders detected. No escape. Humans weak, powerless no more. The armored aliens appeared again, more numerous this time, their weapons raised. Kalen's mind raced. He could not fight all of them directly, but he noticed the children's powers flickering, ready to be used. He whispered instructions, coordinating them carefully. One child lifted a small crate without touching it, hurling it at the approaching aliens. Another created a bright light, blinding their sensors temporarily. Kalen realized that the children's powers were unpredictable, and that unpredictability could turn the battle in their favor. The aliens hesitated, confused by what they saw. Kalen took advantage of the moment, leading the children toward a side exit. The path was narrow and dangerous, but every step brought them closer to freedom. Just as they reached the final door, a massive shadow fell across the hangar. The leader's ship had activated, energy pulsating from its engines. Kalen looked up and realized they were not just fighting guards, they were fighting the heart of the alien operation itself. He took a deep breath. "We can do this," he said quietly to the children. "Stay together. Trust yourselves. Trust each other." The children nodded, their small hands gripping his. A strange calm filled the air, even as danger loomed. Kalen knew that the coming battle would test them in ways they had never imagined. But he also knew this. Humans were survivors. Humans were fighters. And humans had just begun to awaken. As they slipped through the final door into the darkness beyond, Kalen glanced back. The alien leader's ship glowed ominously, a warning and a challenge. The discovery had been made. The children were powerful. The aliens had underestimated humans. And now, the galaxy would never be the same. The night outside was quiet, but Kalen felt the weight of what was coming. They had escaped, for now, but the true enemy was still out there, watching, waiting, and planning. One of the children whispered, We can fight them?" Kalen smiled, a mixture of determination and hope in his eyes. "Yes, we can. And we will." The discovery had changed everything. The humans were no longer victims, they were a force. And the galaxy would soon learn that humans were not to be underestimated. The dark tunnel smelled of dust and strange chemicals. Kalen moved swiftly, guiding the children through the shadows. Each step brought them closer to freedom, but the echo of alarms still haunted the halls. The alien leader's ship, a monstrous black vessel, loomed over the facility, like a predator waiting for its prey. Kalen's jaw tightened. Every moment counted, and any mistake could cost lives. The children were quiet, clutching his hands, trusting him completely. Some of them had begun to notice their powers more clearly now. One child, a girl with glowing eyes, could lift small objects with her mind. Another, a boy, seemed to sense danger before it appeared. Kalen realized that these abilities, unpredictable as they were, could be the key to their escape. But he had to guide them carefully. Too much power too soon could reveal them to the aliens. As they approached the final chamber, a low hum filled the air. The leader's soldiers were there, guarding the exit. Their armor gleamed with sharp edges, weapons raised and ready. Kalen whispered, "Stay calm. Follow my lead. Trust each other." Suddenly, a bright flash of light blinded the guards. One of the children had instinctively used their power, creating a burst of energy. Kalen took advantage of the confusion, moving quickly with the children through a narrow passage. The aliens shouted in panic, firing their weapons, but Kalen and the children ducked behind crates and machinery. Every step was a calculated risk. The passage led to an open hangar, filled with alien ships. Some were small and nimble, others massive and armored. Kalen scanned the area, his mind racing. There was only one way out, a large ship at the far end, engines humming, ready for takeoff. But to reach it, they would have to cross open ground, exposed to the enemy. Kalen turned to the children. "We have to run together. Don't separate, no matter what happens." The children nodded, fear and determination in their eyes. With a deep breath, Kalen sprinted forward, the children following. Alien soldiers fired, energy blasts streaking across the hangar. Kalen dodged and rolled, pushing the children to cover. One child, the boy who could sense danger, pointed to a shadowed corner. "This way," he shouted, guiding them to safety. They reached a small alcove behind some cargo crates. Kalen quickly instructed the children to use their powers strategically. The girl lifted a heavy crate and threw it, creating a barrier between them and the soldiers. Another child emitted a pulse of light, confusing the sensors and blinding the alien guards temporarily. Kalen realized that the children were learning quickly, adapting to their abilities under pressure. Suddenly, a massive alien soldier appeared, taller and stronger than the rest. Its weapon glowed with dark energy, and it moved with terrifying speed. Kalen stepped forward, drawing his sword. "I won't let you touch them," he said firmly. The child behind him whispered, "We can help you." Using his power, the boy created a small force field, shielding Kalen from the first attack. Kalen lunged, striking the alien with precise blows. The fight was fierce but quick. Every move Kalen made was calculated, every strike aimed to protect the children. Finally, the alien fell, and the way to the ship was clear. Kalen led the children to the ship, their hearts pounding. The engines roared as they climbed aboard. Inside, the ship's controls glowed with alien symbols. Kalen had no idea how to operate them fully, but one of the children, a small boy who had been quiet until now, pointed at the controls. "Press this and this, follow me," he said. Surprisingly, his instincts were correct. The engines hummed louder, and the ship began to rise. Outside, alien soldiers scrambled to stop them, firing everything they had. Kalen gritted his teeth as energy blasts struck the ship, shaking it violently. The children clung to each other, but Kalen remained calm, guiding the ship through the hangar exit and into the night sky. Once they were clear, Kalen looked at the children. Their faces were a mix of fear and exhilaration. "We're not safe yet," he said. "They will come after us, and we need to be ready." The ship flew into the darkness, the stars stretching endlessly ahead. Kalen's mind raced. The children's powers were growing, and the aliens had underestimated them. But the leader's ship, the massive black vessel, was still out there, following them silently. Hours passed as they navigated through asteroid fields and distant planets, hiding from sensors and avoiding patrols. The children whispered about their abilities, discovering new ways to use them. One child lifted a small rock without touching it, another created a flicker of light that revealed hidden paths. Kalen watched, impressed and cautious. He knew that the more they learned, the more dangerous they could become, for both their enemies and themselves. Finally, they reached a remote planet, small and uninhabited, perfect for a temporary hideout. Kalen guided the ship down carefully, landing in a dense forest. The trees glowed faintly under the alien sun, casting long shadows. The children explored cautiously, amazed by the strange world. Kalen felt a small relief, knowing they were safe for the moment. But peace was short-lived. From the shadows, a small group of alien scouts appeared, tracking them relentlessly. Kalen drew his sword again. "We have to fight," he said. The children prepared, their powers ready. The battle was fierce. The aliens were skilled and relentless, but the children had become clever, using their abilities to outmaneuver and confuse the enemy. Kalen coordinated them carefully, turning their powers into weapons and shields. They moved like a team, human and child, working together against impossible odds. In the middle of the battle, The girl with glowing eyes lifted a fallen tree and hurled it at a group of aliens, knocking them back. The boy with sensing powers warned Kalen just in time, allowing him to dodge a deadly attack. Each child's ability complemented the others, creating a new kind of human strength the aliens had never expected. After a long and exhausting fight, the aliens retreated, surprised and defeated. Kalen looked at the children, proud and exhausted. "We did it," he said softly. "You all did amazing." The children smiled, though their eyes still held fear. "Will they come again?" asked one. "Yes," Kalen admitted. "But next time, we will be ready. We are not just humans. We are stronger than they ever imagined." That night, as they rested under the alien sky, Kalen thought about the journey ahead. They had escaped the immediate danger, but the enemy was still out there, more powerful and organized than anyone could imagine. The children were learning, growing, and discovering powers that could change the galaxy. And Kalen knew one thing clearly: the true rescue had only just begun. In the distance, a faint shadow passed through the sky, a reminder that the alien leader was still watching, still planning. The humans had taken their first steps, but the galaxy had not yet seen the full strength of humanity. Kalen looked at the children, determination burning in his eyes. "Rest now," he said. "Tomorrow we start fighting back. And the universe will know that humans are not to be underestimated." The rescue had been daring, thrilling, and dangerous. But it had also revealed something greater. The humans, small and underestimated, were awakening. The children were not just survivors, they were the future. And with Kalen guiding them, the unexpected was about to become unstoppable. The sky above the hidden forest glowed red as distant stars reflected on the surface of the alien warship. Kalen stood at the edge of the clearing, watching the massive black vessel hover silently. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, a fortress of metal and energy, bristling with weapons and drones. Its engines pulsed with dark power, and he could feel the threat in his bones. The alien leader had arrived, and this would be the final battle. The children stood behind him, tense but determined. Their powers had grown since the last fight. The girl with glowing eyes could lift heavy objects with ease. The boy who sensed danger could now anticipate attacks before they happened. Even the smallest children had begun to show subtle abilities, moving things without touching them, emitting blinding flashes of light, and even creating small protective shields. Kalen felt pride and fear at the same time. Pride in their strength, fear of the challenge ahead. "We have one chance," Kalen whispered. "One chance to stop them and get everyone home." The children nodded, each gripping their newfound courage. They were ready, or as ready as they could be. Suddenly, the warship released a shockwave, sending the forest floor trembling. Trees cracked, and leaves flew into the air. Alien drones began descending, scanning for intruders. Kalen took a deep breath. "Move," he shouted. "Stick together, and trust your powers." The group rushed forward, dodging energy blasts and falling debris. Kalen coordinated the children, telling them when to attack and when to defend. The girl with glowing eyes lifted massive boulders and hurled them at drones, crushing several. Another child created bursts of blinding light, forcing the enemy to retreat temporarily. From the shadows of the warship, the alien leader emerged. His armor gleamed black, eyes glowing with malevolent intelligence. "Humans," he said, his voice deep and cold. "You are small, weak, and foolish to think you can challenge me." Kalen stepped forward, sword drawn. "We are not weak. We are humans, and we fight for those who cannot fight for themselves." The leader laughed, and the ground shook with energy. "Your courage is amusing, but courage alone cannot save you. Your children are my power, my weapon, and soon, your species will bow to me." Kalen's eyes narrowed. He had expected this challenge, but the alien leader's confidence was terrifying. He knew he could not match the warship's firepower directly. They would have to use strategy, courage, and the children's abilities creatively. "Children," Kalen whispered, "it's time. Use everything you've learned. Trust yourselves." The first wave of drones attacked. Kalen and the children moved like a single unit, dodging, striking, and countering with powers the aliens had never seen. Energy shields deflected blasts, telekinetic pushes sent drones crashing into the ground, and blinding flashes of light confused enemy sensors. The warship itself pulsed, reacting to the chaos below. The alien leader advanced, his presence heavy and commanding. Kalen held his ground. "You want to see what humans can do?" he shouted. "Then watch." He charged, using the children as cover and distraction. The girl with glowing eyes lifted parts of the forest, hurling them with precision. The boy who sensed danger guided Kalen around attacks he could not see. Even the smallest children contributed, using subtle powers to trip, block, and confuse the aliens. The leader struck with immense force, energy slashing through the forest. Kalen barely dodged, rolling through debris. The children's combined powers created a protective dome around them, shielding them from the worst of the attack. The battle was intense, chaotic, and terrifying, but humans adapted quickly, surprising the aliens with creativity and bravery. Kalen saw the opportunity. If they could disable the ship's energy core, the warship would be forced to retreat. He pointed to the glowing core beneath the hull. "That's it. That's our chance," he yelled. The children understood immediately. Working together, they combined their powers, lifting debris, generating energy pulses, and creating protective shields. Kalen led the final charge toward the core, dodging the alien leader's attacks. The ground shook, fires erupted, and the air crackled with energy. One by one, the children used their abilities to overload the core's defenses. The boy with sensing powers directed Kalen to the weak points. The girl with glowing eyes lifted massive parts of the structure, breaking through the armor. The smaller children focused their powers, sending energy pulses that disrupted the core's shielding. The alien leader roared in anger. "Impossible! Humans weak yet strong, why?" Kalen shouted, "Because we fight for more than ourselves. We fight for everyone who cannot fight. That is human strength." With one final push, the core erupted in a blinding explosion. The warship trembled violently, alarms blaring, energy surging uncontrollably. The leader was thrown back, his armor cracked, and the drones fell from the sky like broken birds. Kalen shielded the children as the explosion threw them forward. They landed in a heap, exhausted but alive. The massive warship, unable to maintain control, retreated into space, leaving behind only smoke and debris. Silence fell over the forest, broken only by the ragged breathing of the humans. For a moment, no one moved. Then Kalen looked at the children, each one glowing faintly, eyes wide with awe and relief. "We did it," he said quietly. "We survived." The children smiled, small and tired, but stronger than ever. One of them, the smallest, whispered, "We really did it?" Kalen knelt beside them. "Yes," he said, voice full of pride. "You are brave. You are strong. And you are humans. Never forget that." In the distance, the alien leader's voice echoed faintly, carried by remaining drones. "Humans, this is not over." Kalen knew that this was only the beginning of a larger struggle. But for now, the children were safe, the immediate threat defeated, and the galaxy had witnessed the power of humans for the first time. The forest glowed faintly under the alien sun, the smoke clearing to reveal a quiet world. Kalen helped the children to their feet, each one holding on to him. They had fought together, survived together, and grown stronger together. "You see," Kalen said, "no matter how small we seem, no matter how weak others think we are, humans can achieve anything when we fight for what is right." The children nodded, understanding. The galaxy was dangerous, unpredictable, and often cruel, but they were humans. They survived, they adapted, and they would continue to rise. As they walked toward a safe place, Kalen looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, enemies still lurked, but the humans had awakened. The unexpected had become unstoppable, and the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. The warship had retreated, but its shadow remained as a reminder. Humans had fought, humans had won, and humans were now a force to be reckoned with. The rescue had ended, but a new chapter was beginning. One where humans would lead, protect, and inspire, showing the universe what it truly meant to fight for survival, courage, and honor. Kalen smiled at the children.
Rest now, he said.
Tomorrow, we start building the future we were meant to protect. The stars shone brightly above. The galaxy had seen humans rise, and the story of courage, unity, and unstoppable determination had just begun.